Were you nervous when you did the news station interview?
Honestly, no, man.
Right.
Yeah, that's why it's weird. That's why I said, like, I was here for a second and it's just us three.
Yeah.
And I wouldn't say I was nervous just now. I was just a little thrown off for a second. It takes me a second to get my bearings right, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
But I wasn't really in that. It's weird. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a little different because then you got all the big lights all over and like 5, 6, 7
and you know that it's going to be
live.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, yeah. Yeah, this should even be easier because
because I can go back, edit.
That's right. So it should be easier.
Right. It's
but it's weird. It was flipped for me just now. Just now I was a little off for a second. I'm like, oh,
right.
So.
And now having done music for so long, what are, in terms of learning how to get into that flow state, what are some things that you've learned, do you think?
Just being super over rehearsed.
Yeah.
First step.
Yeah.
And then doing it 1,000 times over.
Uh-huh.
That helps.
Yeah.
And when you go and do shows and stuff, it's kind of like you build up like a muscle and a callus.
Right.
To like, there could be hecklers in the crowd, there could be just nobody cares, or people love it. Either way, all three of them, you've done it enough to where it's not a problem.
What are some of your favorite performing moments?
Oh man, I got a couple. Man, I played in a rock band for a long time.
Yeah, man.
I was Touching the Absolute. That was cool.
Absolute.
Yeah, it was real awesome, man. It was a 5-year-long journey, and I learned a lot from that.
Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast.
Welcome, guys, to the Gulf Coast Music Podcast. Today's new wave, Nick Ray.
What's up, man? What's up, Quincy?
Coming in from Nashville.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, I had a private event out there, and we're out there a little late. That's why we did the whole switching around times and all that. So I wanted to get here early enough and not be traveling too late.
Yeah,
but it was cool, man. It's just a private party, nothing spectacular,
Are you full-time musician?
Yeah, I mean, for the most part, yeah. I mean, I do other things.
Yeah.
There's other things that I do on the side and things like that. Songwriting, production.
Right.
I guess you could clump that in, but as far as like a playing out musician, somewhat full time.
100% goes.
Yeah, for sure, without a doubt. Yeah, it's cool.
And how do you stay so
busy?
Yeah, or how do you just stay so passionate about it when you're doing all this? And does it ever become too much work? Or
yeah, but without a doubt, man, it's there's times where you sit down, and you're like, man, I don't know what I'm doing. It gets hard. Right. What I mean, and like you'll start questioning, well, should I do something different and this and that, and and then but for me, it's pretty easy. It's just like, what's the alternatives? And when I start thinking about the alternatives, like I don't want to be a plumber.
Right.
So that always talks me out of, doing anything else. I'm sure, and there's other things you can do, you know, of course, you don't have to be a plumber, but.
No, but I definitely relate to that. It's right now I'm working an 8 to 5 at a nearby healthcare facility, and, I'm using the company computers to look up other jobs, right? And you go down that rabbit hole almost every day. And then you realize each time that you're doing your current job as an evolution into something that could be greater, and you just got to keep trusting the process.
Without a doubt.
Right.
100%. I've done that myself.
Right.
I might be doing it now in other ways.
Right.
So I get that.
Yeah. It's like an addiction almost of like just thinking of the hypothetical, of other careers, like you're saying. And it's just fun sometimes, it's like a homeowner looking for other houses that there's no reason to buy or whatever.
100%. Always in the market. Always in the market.
For no reason.
Yep, that's right.
Just being in the market because it's something.
You want to know the numbers too, or whatever the property values are and this and that. Yeah.
Right.
Well, to speak on what you're talking about, like looking through jobs and stuff while you're at a job, some things are like a means to an end. Right. Some things are stepping stones. I've always find no matter what I'm doing, if it's not something I like, I try to still give it my 100% of whatever I got left.
And that's what I was going to ask you is how do you stay passionate with music? What are some tips?
I think anything I tell you would be cliche, but I'll go ahead and do it anyway. You know, probably a bunch of artists already covered this on
Hey,
here,
man.
but I might give a different perspective.
Yeah, we get new fans every day.
Yeah, that's right. I think taking a lot of breaks so you don't get burnt out, knowing when to take breaks, knowing when to work and not to work, knowing when you're procrastinating, not procrastinating. Those things help you keep going.
Absolutely.
But what I guess helps you not quit and just I think those every time you get a better gig or something comes along that's substantial, it puts a little fuel in your tank.
Right.
You know,
Somehow creating something different in your process, like
that too, absolutely,
and like collaborations as well.
all of that.
Yeah.
If you do, if you can vary it up and try something new, that'll keep you sparked. You know,
because just from a general idea, the idea of doing something over and over again
repetitively,
it has an effect on your brain to where your brain doesn't like perceive it the same way it once did.
Too much of anything could be a bad thing, right?
Absolutely. Tell me about touching the absolute. Do you miss those days?
Sometimes, I mean, there's I don't miss some of the bad days. You know, I was a younger man back then, and you know, I made all the mistakes that a lot of people make. You know, staying out too late. You know, doing all the after parties and all of that kind of stuff. So, but I miss the camaraderie. I miss the guys the most. You know, I definitely missed the shows. You know, it was a different time back then, different music.
Yeah, I'm sure you got a story from missing the guys.
Yeah, oh, without a doubt. Yeah, I love those dudes, man.
Right.
Yeah. They might not love me, though. Like, I had a little bit of an experience, you know, there was a lot of things going on in my life at the time.
Yeah.
You know, it could have, well, I know it did rub people the wrong way, but that's a conversation for another day. But,
but I appreciate you being vulnerable.
Absolutely,
I'm
man.
Sure they,
absolutely.
I'm sure they do still love you.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah. Is it weird in being a part of a band and making your own music as well? Like, just thinking of how like any band revolves. I think like you see it in any big band where like one member will have his own music going on, and it looked like during that time you also had some Nick Ray singles.
Yeah, that's a tough thing because I can't speak for all bands, but like you said, 70 to 80% of them, that always becomes can be an issue. You know, gotcha. So how you pursue that when you're in a band and you made that your commitment, a lot of times that comes first over everything.
Right.
For some bands now, you know, it depends, you know, like if you have a band, you're a solo artist, you hire a bunch of guys, you kind of got more say on what you can do when you know, it is, even though it could be a band, you can name it a band, you know, but you can go, you know, it's kind of something you created, you hired the guns, you're paying them, you know, when you're in a band, y'all all split in a pot, you're going to shows, you're sacrificing, it's a unit. So that is a tough thing. You know, I found myself many a times, wishing I could bring things into the room, but it wasn't fair to them and wasn't, you know, because it's like, you know, we got our own formula, and then now I'm trying to change it, so that's not necessarily fair neither. Yeah,
it's the concept of a band is always interesting.
Yeah,
you know, because there's so many different layers to it, and you see so many different things throughout history of certain bands practicing different methods.
Sure.
But yeah, it's 5 years is a long time.
Man. It is a long time. It's a long, and it was some great years of my life, and I probably wouldn't be doing what I'm doing right now just from that experience. Yeah, you know. So
cool, man. Cool. So yeah, but 15 years is even longer, and I'm sure you've been at music for longer than that. Yeah. So I think we kind of touched on it earlier, but besides general advice from 15 years, what are some just bits that you've picked up along the way of maybe like certain things that have happened as you've aged with music? I don't know.
Well, definitely learned a lot. And I think I knew right away. I mean, you know, you just have to, as far as continuing the journey and everything I picked up, I mean, obviously, I think the fundamentals of watch who you hang with, you know what I mean, when you're trying to pursue something. if you got the wrong, any type of people aren't, going in the same direction, that can really weigh heavy on your time, that can take away from things you're doing, not procrastinating and doing it every opportunity you get. Yeah. And when you say you're going to do something, you do it, and be willing to spend lots of money, and don't be shy to, have to work a gig to pay for it. Never shortchange the people that, you hire, and if you ask somebody to do something, be willing to pay for their services. Things like that, I guess. And,
no, that's great. That's great. Yeah. Maintaining the business aspect.
Sure. Yeah.
Music feeds the soul, but food feeds the future. Right here on the Gulf Coast, thousands of families don't know where their next meal is coming from. Feeding the Gulf Coast is changing that tune, one meal at a time. Imagine this. For every $1, you can provide up to 5 meals. That's like turning a quiet solo into a full-blown jam session of hope for someone in need. Let's turn the volume up on kindness and down on hunger. Visit feedingthegulfcoast.org to donate today, because together we can make sure no one goes hungry on or off the stage. Feeding the Gulf Coast, because every community deserves an encore. Whoa, 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 don't let the dogs out. The City of Mobile Animal Shelter has many loving pets ready for a nice home. Whether you're looking for a dog like Snoop or a cat like Doja, the City of Mobile Animal Shelter is where you can find your next friendly companion. They're located at 855 Owen Street, and you can stop by anytime between 10 a.m. to 4 p.m. We all need a little bow wow in our lives. Call 251-208-2800 because the City of Mobile Animal Shelter has you covered. That's 251-208-2800. Roof. But on the art side,
I know, and I went off into the business. I'm so sorry, man. I should have went more on the art side.
Well, I really appreciate it because it's the business side is more
just important. It's just as important.
Yeah.
Unfortunately,
and that's like a cool layer that it's just cool to hear from that perspective as well. But also in the art side, how would you say that your sound has evolved from four walls to?
Since I left the rock band stuff, I went and tried many different things, man. I've done electronic stuff, pop music, EDM, and I just started going, I guess where I'm at now, I just went back to things that I really liked growing up and what got me doing music. It's more organic stuff, real live drummers, real bass players.
Yeah.
And, I started getting into the country sound, not necessarily really country, but the sound of it, steel guitars and lap guitars and stuff like that.
I wanted to know like how you were conceptualizing on digital junk food, for example, which kind of leans to the pop side.
Yep.
It's how did you conceptualize the sounds that are in that project and then put them into play, especially like SoundCloud Warrior, where it's like the wop wop wop.
Yep. Yeah.
Like how
the weird synth noises and stuff.
Noises, 85. Like how do you process those into songs?
At the time, man, I was listening to a lot of electronic rock artists, AWOL Nation and stuff like that, and I guess it just inspired me to throw my name in that hat in that aspect of genre, and I'm like. That's the thing, it's like I'm a little bit creatively confused, when I started all that stuff. It's like, man, I like the when I was doing pop EDM.
I like how you say creatively confused.
I got that from Kid Rock, man. I'm gonna be honest with you. He said that and it stuck with me. I'm like, I totally understand that.
Yeah.
He did straight on hip hop, mixed hip hop and rock, then jumped to country.
Right.
I think it's just somebody that might like so many different things, and if you can do them, and I'm not going to say I do them well now, but I'm just going to say, like, if you feel like, I appreciate it, brother, but if you can somewhat tackle it and not be a disaster, then people with that flexibility might want to have their hands in so many different pies, and then I mean, I guess from a label or a branding standpoint, that could be a bit of a mess.
Absolutely.
It's hard to, now I'm doing what I'm doing now, and then people
Right.
look me up and they're like, I don't understand, So
Yeah.
it's like I got to deal with that kind of stuff too,
Right.
But yeah,
In another sense, dipping your hand in multiple pies, you've got a publicist with you today, and I'm sure you've got other
Vicky Johnson.
Vicky Johnson. And I'm sure that you got other people that have helped you along the way or are still helping you with different aspects of the business. And to independent artists out there that are doing everything themselves, what's some advice to jump off of that and ask for help?
Well, it's really tricky with that. Because that's where it goes back into that business thing I was talking about earlier. Is like, be willing to pay people.
Exactly.
There's a lot of people out there, man, that don't understand that concept. They think music is this kind of free thing they can just grab at and just not pay people appropriately for their time.
Right.
And I started out and fumbled that way and realized real quick,
I feel that, totally.
that I learned from that, and I'm like, that's just not how you do good business, because you can't really grow and keep foundations and relationships you build that way,
I love how you said that. I think maturing is realizing that the idea of music, of being like this fairy tale where everybody's going to support what you got going on,
right?
And that they're obliged to do that.
Gotta wash that out.
You gotta kill that.
Get rid of that. That's ego, man. Well, it's not necessarily ego. It's ignorance, unfortunately. But yeah.
It's everything's like math and science. Everything's business. Everything's
right. 100%.
If people are going to do something, there's got to be an incentive, and
that's right.
Yeah, it's
so if you can gather people to get in your corner that are willing to help, that's cool. But you don't want to abuse that relationship. You know what I mean?
Right.
So you got to make sure you're giving back just as much.
Yeah.
Making sure. Whatever you can do to make this show your appreciation. Whatever that is, you got to make sure that that's there. Never take that for granted. So if you can get people to do that for you, that's great. But you might not always be able to do that, and that's where you might have to hire services. You might have to work up, a part-time gig and spend all that money.
Yeah.
Going out to that, you know what I mean?
Absolutely. You might have to start sleeping in the guitar case.
It's possible.
Yeah.
It's possible. I've been close to things like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Speaking of being on the road, coming in from Nashville, how often are you taking trips, and how are you planning these trips?
We try to take them as much as we possibly can. It's kind of, we try to do it in stints, like little mini tours. Mm-hmm. And then I'll slow it down a little bit, and I'll intentionally do sporadic stuff every couple weeks so I can then spend my free time writing, and things like that. But then once I'm caught up with that, I like to try to, every March, beginning of every year, I try to start a little mini tour and work that out for 4 months straight every weekend. I stick with the South, Texas, Tennessee, North Carolina, South Carolina, Florida, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Alabama, and I don't really travel too much further from that. I think it's more affordable that way. You know what I mean? It allows me to focus on those demographics also.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Not saying we couldn't go further out, but where we're at in my career, we do have a limit. And that's what we're limited to right now.
Yeah, I think it's smart as well. You get to know familiar faces and build lasting relationships. It's how many hours a week do you think you're working?
As far as musically on the weekends when I play a gig, just in writing and stuff or whatever.
Yeah, the total, like how much?
Man, I never really put a number on it, but
more than you breathing.
Well, I wouldn't say that. There's room for improvement.
Right.
I'll say that. When I don't have an obligation, I'm working on something.
Right.
So I wish I never sat down and really thought about the hours.
Right.
To be honest, I'm not working as much as I should. Let's say that, and I'll be completely honest. But some of it's maybe being a little too hard on myself. Some of it is situational.
Yeah.
But I definitely, whenever there's a chance, I'm doing something. You know, whenever, like I said, I'm not obligated to anything. I'm working, you know, on things.
Right. Hey fighters, listen up. Are you tired of feeling like your conditioning holds you back in competition? It's time to bridge the gap between theory and real performance. At Dexter's Fitness Center, we're launching a combat sports strength and conditioning program designed for boxers, kickboxers, MMA fighters, and combat athletes who want to get faster, stronger, and more flexible while building the endurance to go the distance. No more outdated workouts, no more burnout. This program is built to enhance your skill work, prevent injuries, and maximize your potential without wasting your time or overwhelming your body. Training starts August 12th at Dexter's Fitness Center, 1900 Government Street, Mobile, Alabama. Sessions are Tuesdays and Thursdays from 6:30 p.m. to 7:30 p.m. and Saturdays from 11:30 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. If you're ready to step into every fight confident, prepared, and in peak condition, call 251-709-2654 or email contact@dextersfitnesscenter.com today. Let's build the fighter you're meant to be.
Is this broad labor? I'd like to talk to you about the possibility of moving a couple of things for me from my daughter's house to my garage.
In any type of like art like that where there's no baseline of like goals that you have to meet, I guess. Like unless you know
When you're independent and you don't have, and you got to make your own goals without a doubt. Without a doubt, you have to continue to not let up on the gas as best as you can. You know.
Right, because you know I'm working 8 to 5. I know I've got to work 9 hours each day. But
what are you doing with the other hours when you're off? Basically,
right. Like I've got the structure, but independent, it's like can you go to a party without feeling guilty?
If I feel like whatever was on my plate, I worked on something that, you know, off of my checklist. Right. If I feel like I got enough done, absolutely. I don't really do the party and stuff anyway, because you know I don't know. I kind of got away from that whole thing, and you know I try to do just walks in the park and, you know, going out in the mountains and hitting the beach if I can.
Well, where's the best mountains or beach at?
Well, the ones that I've been to, Destin's my favorite.
Destin.
It's the best beach I've been to. Yeah. I've been to Gulf Shores. I've been to Panama City. I've been to a couple other ones. But in the South, Destin was cool. And in mountains, I would say the Smokies in the South. The Smokies, you know, Pigeon Forge, Gatlinburg. Yeah. You know, those. No, North Carolina, too. Yeah. North Carolina is actually a little bit more spectacular than Gatlinburg. It starts there, and then you keep on going, and it actually kind of blow you away how much bigger the mountains get, you know.
Yeah, man. No, I've never been over there. I remember
It's not too far from here. It's not too bad of a drive. Maybe 6.5 or something. Yeah.
Yeah, my middle school football
maybe
team,
longer, maybe 7.
They had like some football like tournament that they would always travel there, and but that's all I'd ever heard about Gatlinburg. But
yeah, it's cool, man. Yeah, if you've never been, I don't think you would enjoy it. It's different.
Yeah,
it's got a cool culture downtown. It's a nice combination of laid back and also a little bit of a party atmosphere to some extent. You know, you feel like you could get loose there a little bit.
Right.
You know, nothing like what we're used to in New Orleans. I mean,
Right.
everything shuts down at I think 2 or maybe even midnight or something. So
Yeah.
that's it's hard for us coming from that. You know, going other places, everything's just dead.
Yeah.
You know, I don't know how it is here in Mobile.
It throws you off.
You
No,
know?
Mobile kind of rides it out, but yeah. I see
Oh,
what
that's
you're
cool.
saying.
Oh, wow.
When it just
Yeah.
everything shuts
It's
down.
culture shock.
What was it like when you released Circles? Did you have a feeling that it was gonna be one of your biggest songs?
Yeah, it's funny you said it. You got some good questions, man. I think a lot of artists feel that.
Yeah.
And then reality sets in, and sometimes it doesn't work like that.
But
you know what
I mean, it's got 13,000 on YouTube, and
Yeah, it did okay for an independent. You know,
Right.
most of everything I've done independently does okay, and without a huge label. I have done things with indie labels that have been able to put it in the right places. You know,
Really?
and yeah, and I've
so
I've
you've
seen,
been a part of labels then.
yeah, I did some stuff with Warner Chappell in UK, and I did a single with some guys, some EDM stuff, and they had the right backing to put things where it needed to be, and it was good material for that kind of stuff.
What do you mean by the right backing?
Just having the finances to get on the right playlist, you
Right.
know, they got the right connections and doing all that kind of stuff, you know.
Yeah.
So and I've worked with several actually in the UK doing that whole EDM thing, and they had, some really, big followings and stuff like that. And but anything I've done independently has been what it is, you know.
Hmm.
So I'll tell you this, I don't think anything when I make music now, I don't think about what it's gonna do. I just make it because I love it, and then I just continue to work to go out there and play,
Right.
you know.
For sure. Yeah, it's interesting how the mindset shifts over time.
I think you should always. I guess you got to ask yourself what level, where are you trying to be.
Right.
I've already figured out for the most part where I would like to be.
Yeah.
So other guys might have that mentality every time they reach. They release a song, they think it's going to be the next big thing. I think the older you get, you realize that it doesn't necessarily always work that way.
Mhm.
Doesn't necessarily mean you shouldn't feel the same every time you release a song. I would just say my expectations and how I look at things different,
For
different
sure.
now.
Would you ever join a record label?
If the deal was good,
Yeah.
yeah, if the deal favored me and it was good for them and good for me, absolutely, without a question.
Right. Just because
Yeah.
in seeing how
Yeah,
Things
I would absolutely do it, but I would be very selective,
Yeah.
and careful in what I'm getting into.
Right.
You know what I mean?
seeing the impact of music so far in your life, how long do you think you'll be able to keep it up for?
Don't know, brother. That's a good question too, man. Yeah, it's a really good question,
Oh,
man. I'm gonna be
man, I
honest with you, man. I'm serious.
I appreciate it.
Think owning a studio and producing and co-writing for people. I think I could be okay in that.
But
know?
it's so saturated in New Orleans, though, right?
Oh, without a doubt. Oh yeah, for sure. It is. As far as what, like recording and stuff.
Oh, like owning your own studio.
Oh yeah. But I mean,
To chase that goal, where do you think would be the best opportunity?
probably Nashville.
But I mean, it's even more saturated over there.
A
Right?
little bit more opportunity though, man. A little bit more money in that aspect rolling around.
So you
It's-
think
yeah.
that in a spot where music is so concentrated, where they've already got studios set up, being a new studio would still serve you well?
It all depends on what you're providing for them. I guess it depends on your niche, your sound, what you're recording, and
Right. You
um,
think no matter how many people are there, the cream always rises?
100% all
Gotcha.
cities,
Gotcha.
all cities, without a doubt.
Interesting.
Yes.
Well, yeah, I mean, because again, in looking for careers, like I'm seeing some of the same things in different aspects as well, and just being an Instagram page, let's say, a music Instagram page, there's obviously billions, trillions of Instagram pages that promote things, and just believing in yourself to that you got something that's unique enough to flourish.
Well, definitely that. And I think what you have going on here can grow.
Well, I
mean, yeah, without a doubt. I mean, you got a good setup, you know, people love music.
Right.
People love hearing different sides of, you know, what people have to say about music and the industry and the creative part of it. That alone, I think, gives you a huge edge. Mm-hmm. So I think you're already heading in the right direction if that's your passion.
Oh yeah,
you know, it seems like it. You know, but people could be multi-talented, like I was saying. Like I'm multi-talented, different things, and but if you're definitely on the right track, brother. This is great.
Well, I really appreciate it.
Absolutely.
Yeah. What's along the Gulf Coast? What are some specialties, some nuances of different spaces? You know, we're both from the New Orleans area. We know what New Orleans is like, but when you go into Mississippi, how do you interpret these different locations?
Demographic or music wise, like or like as far as music.
I guess just in terms of music, just for the
music. I can tell you this. I can tell you some differences between for me.
Right.
And when you speak on that, you got to be really, really careful because your experience may be different than the next man's, right?
It probably is. Yeah.
You know, so I could say this has been this, and then like I don't have that problem.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So I don't. But from my personal experience, what I do as a singer-songwriter, Southern rock, country kind of guy, country rock or Southern rock, whatever you want to call it, straight rock. New Orleans particularly, and you've probably heard this before, and from my experience, you know, the brass, all the guys that have been doing it for years,
Soul
you know, all those guys, the Meters, we were talking about them earlier, all fantastic, you know, Dr. John.
Brassaholics.
All of that, all of those guys, you know, all of those Kermit Ruffins, you know, that is the forefront of the industry in music in New Orleans for the most part.
And that's interesting because it's a dying breed, right? The brass is.
Not there.
Not in New Orleans.
Not there. I don't know, man. There's places, man, that really, really love it, and I understand why. So I wouldn't say that because, you know, some of these guys, they'll travel all the way out to Atlanta for private shows and they're getting paid amazing money. Right, you know, or like
probably because it's a dying breed as well. You know, it's like when there's.
I guess you could look at it like when you say dying breed. What do you mean exactly?
In this new age of like, so many people are doing like rap music, and maybe it's just what pops up on my feed. But you know, people make a lot of money and get popular off of pop songs. Like I don't listen to brass songs on the radio.
Yeah, you know, and I don't know.
Besides the soul
I can't even say if back then brass was even that. I don't know where it was at on the radio, but I know what you're saying. So yes, in that aspect, yeah. But let's just say there it's not a problem, which is great. You know, those guys are getting plenty of work in New Orleans and they're making plenty of money. They're well respected and they should be.
Because it's been part of the culture, right?
100%. So
and it's a live show. You know, if you went to New Orleans and somebody was doing pop on the side and they weren't, you didn't see any brass, you'd be like, where am I? You know?
Yes. Like all the tourists come in, man, they want to hear the brass. They want to hear brass. They want to hear jazz, whatever it be, fusion jazz, or whatever the genres are, classic, contemporary. They love other things too. What's that? Second line, of course, they want to see second lines. Don't get me wrong, there's tons of music in that city. That's not just, and there's signed major label artists that's come out of there and done extremely well. So I mean, it's not just that. I'm just saying, as far as, let's say, put it to you like this, as an indie artist fitting into that, if you don't have some type of deal, you'll build a following, I'm sure, and if you're not exactly those things. But for me, what I did was too hard in New Orleans. Mm-hmm. That's the best way I could put it. So when I go from New Orleans, this is going back to what you asked me. When I leave New Orleans and I go up here more towards north-south, whether it be North Alabama, Atlanta, Nashville, all of these places, I'm way more accepted. I find way more work, way more opportunity.
Yeah.
There's people that like what I do a lot more here than they did there.
Yeah.
So I flourished since I left New Orleans. As much as I love that city, I wish I could have flourished
Yeah.
there, but I didn't.
I like that answer.
So
Yeah, that's a great answer. Is it scary being a musician just because, again, there is no kind of like set pay? You have to go out, earn it, entrepreneurial, you know.
Oh yeah, I mean, there's always things that arise, uncertainties, anxieties, and
Right.
not sure I'm gonna do this, and if I buy this or if I pay for this studio time, maybe I can't pay for some of the bills or whatever,
Yeah.
or so.
Right. How much do you actually love that song? Yeah.
Well, yeah, and yeah, you can find yourself in some really tough situations. I've done things where I'm like, man, I can't even call anybody after I made this mistake, because once they hear, man, would you put that on music? They're like, man, you should have bought some pork and beans. It's like, well, I can't help you, man. You win, you risk, you gambled, you failed. That's the
Damn,
result.
man. I appreciate that answer, man.
No problem, man. It's the truth.
Shoot, man.
It's tricky.
How much money are you leaving on, like, going on trips to Nashville? You're going so far away from home.
Well, the gigs pay enough.
Okay.
The
good.
gigs pay enough for me to get lodging.
And yeah, I didn't mean to be so specific.
No, that's fine. But I mean, but yes, you are spending a good bit to travel,
Right.
without a doubt. And
Booking
but I
hotels.
definitely make sure the gigs accommodate that.
Right.
I make sure the bill is.
Have you ever run into a circumstance where it's been fishy with a gig?
I just don't play them.
Right, but like, do you make sure you get paid beforehand? Or
No, but you can do contracts, and I don't, to be honest with you. But we have a very, very keen. I don't know, man. I've been doing this for so long that, and I wouldn't tell anybody to do this, right? But like, don't take this chance. Probably, like, maybe you should be sending out contracts when you do gigs and things
Right,
like that. And
right.
there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
I just have a real good nose for sniffing them out. Like, I know, I can just tell by the conversations through email. I look them up, I look at reviews. I look
Right.
at, the email says it all, man. It really does it. But once again, I'm comfortable. I've been doing it for so long. We have been doing it so long. My publicist, Vicky, we know. We wouldn't, let me take that back. We don't know, but we have a very strong like, this is probably going to be just fine. You know what I mean? And I've been doing it as a solo performer for 3 years now. I haven't been burned once, so, but yeah.
For 3 years.
As a solo performer,
Right.
doing what I'm doing now.
What were you doing prior for 3 years?
I was mainly just just at home, man. I was just doing a lot of the studio stuff, writing records like Digital Junk Food and stuff like that, electronic stuff.
Right. And what percentage of your income comes from writing other people's records? Oh, and
Some. It just depends on how much I'm doing it. It could be a good chunk. It could be none if I'm not doing it.
Right.
Sometimes I get in that mode and I'll start looking for projects that I can assert myself in that need it.
right. And how do you communicate that to other people? Like,
There's platforms and
no
stuff.
offense, I think I could contribute. It's like seeing somebody with a bad haircut and saying you could cut their hair better or something. Like, no offense to that person, like in the writing process. Like, no offense to your writing process, but I think you should hire me to help you write.
Oh, well, let me take that back. A lot of them find me, to be honest with you.
Okay,
but
gotcha.
yeah. But I guess what I mean. Let me take that back. That wasn't the right thing to say. I just put it out there.
Right.
I'm on a lot of platforms. They got Sound Better.
Right.
There's air gigs. There's, if you want to do the Fiverr route. I've never done it, but I've heard people make money on Fiverr.
Yeah.
So I put my services out there, and they find me, honestly. But if I see something that I like and there's an artist I like, yeah, sure. Now, how do I do that? I just tell them what I can bring to the table. Hey, man, what you're doing is great, but I can also offer. Maybe you're looking for a different sounding mix. Nothing wrong with your mix, but I got this kind of mix I can do for you, or this type of songwriting that maybe you would be interested in.
Right.
And maybe this will bring a different flair to what you're doing. Love what you're doing. I totally understand that this isn't your thing, but you know.
Which software are you using?
I've used them all, but I stuck with Logic. I like Logic because it's just kind of. I feel it's built for the songwriter. That's just my opinion.
Built for the songwriter.
That's what I feel.
That's good.
You know.
Yeah. Do you find that you prefer recording by yourself or with somebody else that's doing the mixing?
If I had the luxury, absolutely somebody mixing.
Okay.
Or an engineer,
Gotcha.
without a doubt.
Yeah, that's what I've heard. Is it's more time efficient, the collaborative.
100%.
Yeah, collaborative measure. I didn't know because like some people like I don't like that somebody else throws me off and.
Well, yeah, and that I could see that too.
Yeah.
I could see that too.
Yeah, but yeah, Logic, that's a good one.
What do you use?
Pro Tools.
Pro Tools, that's great, man. Pro Tools is awesome. It's standard.
Yeah,
it's still number. It's still like up there. It's like 1 or 3.
Yeah,
you know they're all. I think. What is it like? There's Pro Tools, Logic, and Ableton. I think like fight between each other, being at the top.
Right.
You know, and then you got Cubase, and all that stuff. Steinberg, or if that is Cubase, I don't remember. But
yeah, I could tell you knew your studio stuff when you came in here, and you noticed immediately that the room was dead.
Yeah, yeah.
And just curious, what made you prefer that or enjoy the fact that it was dead?
I'm just so used to reverberations,
right.
You know, and a little bit. And when it's dead, you can truly hear. You can truly hear mistakes, you know?
Right.
So when you're singing or playing, you can kind of hear what you're maybe flat on. Not saying it's going to help you any if you're not feeling it or you're not.
Yeah.
But it's definitely a good thing.
Another question I've got is philosophical question is when you're working so much on the road, you might be seeing some really cool places, but do you ever deal with FOMO? The fear of missing out when you're you have to go abroad to these other places far from home.
Missing out on
just anything that you might see friends or family engaging in.
Oh man, see, these great questions without a doubt all the time. All the time. Yeah. That's the sacrifice.
Right.
That's the sacrifice. It's a lonely road, man.
Right. I mean, I'm not to the extent that you are, of course, but in Mobile, missing out with whatever happens in Bellchase, Louisiana, because of work and pursuing this. How do you deal with that FOMO?
Making sure that you're making the best out of what you're doing, working hard at it, make sure it's not wasted time of being alone, or not missing out on these things, making sure you're applying yourself as absolute best as you can stand. I mean, definitely, spend time with whoever is nearby, whatever friends you do have in the area. You definitely want to take your downtime to smell the roses and enjoy the little things. Like, if I'm not working on something, I need to be out in nature, things like that. But that's the best answer I could give is if you're going to be doing something that takes away from that, make sure you try to be the best at it, you know?
For sure. That's a good answer. Yeah. And that's some of the stuff.
Bro.
Some similar stuff I've heard is like, wherever you are, you are. You got to forget about.
Like I think Abe Lincoln had some saying.
He probably did.
What it's like.
Kid Rock probably did too.
Oh, well, that's right. Hey, I like that, man. You got a little spaz with you. I like that. That's awesome, bro. That was witty. Good job, bro.
Thank you.
Wait, what were we talking about? We're talking about
just being present wherever you're present.
Oh, there was a saying. I was trying to tell you the saying about Abraham Lincoln. It's like whatever you are, be a good one. Just whatever it's going to be. If you're a lawyer, be a great lawyer. If you're a doctor, be a great doctor. If you're a plumber, be a great plumber.
Right. And I think Barack Obama said something along the lines of just be useful.
I haven't heard that from him per se, but I've heard that term throughout my life, and sometimes, that's an important thing, for people.
Right.
I think it could be even more for men than women sometimes. Like we need to feel like we're, useful.
Yeah, that's interesting.
Not saying women don't neither, but I think men have a different mechanism to where they, I don't know, man. They have a little bit more of that in them in some ways. You know what I'm saying?
That is interesting. I'm always I'm not sure if I ever am able to engage in these conversations for the sake of just the general culture, but I do see where you're coming from.
Oh, well, yeah, and that
it's always so sensitive nowadays.
Man,
with toxic masculinity,
it's very sensitive.
Yeah.
Like beliefs and things, man, you just don't know.
Right.
So if anybody took anything I said wrong, I didn't mean any harm, and I just.
But I see where you're coming from.
Yeah, I guess you could say that in an old-fashioned
way,
right? Like maybe men were always like in the old-fashioned sense in the 50s, 60s, they were providers.
But at the same time, I think, and Vicky, please butt in if you have anything. I think like maybe women are like programmed to have a useful tendency as well, just in different areas.
That's you know what? Thank you, brother. You corrected me. That way I don't get murdered over here. You definitely got me off the leash there.
Right.
That's kind of what I meant, and I didn't say it that fashion. But yes, in different ways. Yeah. Like back in the day, men were more providers financially and things like that, and they needed to be useful in different. They needed to feel like they could fix the house, or whatever. They had to be good with a hammer.
Okay, gotcha.
Or whatever. I'm not, but yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, old school. Yeah, I guess you could put it that way. There you go. Old school values. Yeah, and some men might not have old school values. I do, by the way. So
Well, let's talk about New Orleans.
Sure, man. Let's do it.
Yeah.
I hope you got something from that. Beginning. That'd be cool.
Just in case it was
right. We can get into that.
Yeah. I guess where are your favorite spots to eat in New Orleans? Let's just put that out there.
Man, that's tough, brother, because I don't. Okay, wait, actually, no, I could tell you. I like Deanie's on Lake Avenue.
Cool.
Good crawfish.
Yeah.
Then there's a spot across from them, Captain Sid's, and I like their crawfish. I'll take it. It's pretty much at a good spot.
Crawfish, yeah.
Oh, big time, bro. I missed out this year. It sucks.
Yeah,
it sucks, man.
Missed out.
I didn't get to go and get any.
Or they missing out.
They have. That's true too, and I miss out. And that's another sacrifice of making crawfish.
True, man. That's a big one.
It's a very big one. They do have it in Birmingham though. It's decent. They got some places that do it. That was pretty impressive.
Imported.
Well, it was pretty good, man. I don't know what they did, but it was all right. It was like this is pretty good.
Yeah.
So.
That's how you know you've been away from the city for a long time. You start thinking Birmingham's got good crawfish.
Yeah, no, you gotta suffice and pivot. Yeah, for sure. But Deanie's was. I always loved Deanie's. Captain Sid's right across the street from where I grab my crawfish to go and go hit lakefront and chill out. I used to do that all the time.
Is crawfish a good pre-performance meal? Do you ever eat it before?
No.
Yeah, no.
It's too spicy.
It can't be.
Yeah, no, man, that's bad. Like, it messes your stomach up. You know how it is.
Yeah.
No way. Yeah. Especially now with a beer and all that, and it just messes. Just too much swishing around in there, man.
Yeah, man, that'll have you singing sailor songs.
Yeah, that's right. 100%. That's right.
Well, yeah, I really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, brother.
Leave the audience.
No, man. I mean, you covered it all. The questions were 100% great.
Thank you, brother.
I couldn't ask for anything better. Honestly,
you're
welcome, man. You're welcome, bro. It was great. This is awesome. Yeah,
thank you.
We appreciate it.
Thank you guys for tuning in to another episode on the Gulf Coast Music Channel. Go catch Nick in New Orleans, eating some crawfish at Deanie's, and see you guys in the next wave.
That's right. Later, man.
Welcome to the Gulf Coast. To the Gulf Coast. Welcome to the Gulf Coast.